I want to take you into the exact moment I realized my pride was completely worthless. I was around 30 years old. After years of surviving a chaotic environment, dealing with family expectations, and watching government recruitment boards collapse, I made the terrifying decision to pivot my life. I decided to aim for the judicial services. I walked into a judicial coaching institute to take one of my very first mock tests. I sat down in that room. I felt the ticking of the clock. I opened the paper, and within 10 minutes, a cold, suffocating panic washed over me. I was completely out of my depth. When the scores came back, I scored under a 60. I was at the absolute bottom. I looked around that room, and I saw people, some of them much, much younger than me, who had been studying the law for years. They were sharp. They were fast. They were discussing complex legal frameworks that sounded like a foreign language to me. At that exact moment, my ego screamed at me. It told me to stand up, walk out of that room, and never come back. I felt a deep, burning humiliation. I thought to myself, I am 30 years old. I should be a master by now. I should be respected by now. What am I doing sitting here, failing a test, starting from absolute zero? If you are trying to change your life right now, if you are pivoting your career, starting a new business, or finally studying for the exam you've been avoiding, you know exactly what that embarrassment feels like. You look at where you are, you look at where everyone else is, and the humiliation almost paralyzes you. Today, we are going to talk about why that humiliation is actually the greatest weapon you possess. We are going to break down why your ego is a liar, and I am going to give you the exact framework to survive the ego death and rebuild yourself from zero. Part 1. The anatomy of the ego and the fake timeline. To survive this phase, you have to understand what your ego actually is. Your ego is not confidence. Your ego is a survival mechanism. Its only job is to protect you from feeling vulnerable, foolish, or inferior. And the ego's favorite weapon is this societal timeline. From the moment we are born, society infects us with an invisible script. You graduate by 22. You figure out your career by 25. By 30, you should be a senior in your field, stable, and respected. But what happens when your 20s are stolen? What happens when you were forced into degrees you didn't want? Or when you gave 3 years of your life to an exam that got canceled because of leaked papers? Your timeline shatters. But your ego doesn't care about context. When you wake up at 28, 30, or 35 and realize you need to start over, your ego interprets starting from zero as a massive, fatal failure. You sit in a library, or a coaching center, or a gym, and you see 23-year-olds who are light years ahead of you. Your ego cannot handle the comparison. It wants to protect you from the pain of looking foolish, so it tells you a lie. It whispers, "It's too late. The ship has sailed. Don't embarrass yourself. Just go back to being comfortable." Your ego would rather you fail quietly for the rest of your life by never trying, than fail loudly for a few months while you learn. Listen to me very carefully. Do not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. Those younger people who are ahead of you didn't magically teleport to the finish line. They just took their beating earlier than you did. They sat in the exact same chair, felt the exact same humiliation of not knowing the answers, and pushed through it. The only difference between you and them is time. And if you quit now just to protect your pride, you are guaranteeing that you will be in the exact same miserable position 10 years from now. Part 2. Epictetus and the Fool. If you want the ultimate blueprint for surviving this humiliation, we have to look at the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. Epictetus was a man who literally started his life at absolute zero. He was born a slave in the Roman Empire. He had no agency, no wealth, and a permanently crippled leg. He was at the very bottom of the human hierarchy. But he eventually earned his freedom, started from nothing, and became one of the greatest philosophical minds in human history. Emperors would travel just to listen to him speak. When talking about how to learn, how to grow, and how to change your life, Epictetus gave one brutal, non-negotiable rule. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Think about the sheer power of that statement. The greatest philosopher of his era is telling you that the mandatory price of admission for greatness is looking like an absolute idiot. When you start a new path, you are going to look foolish. You are going to fail mock tests. You are going to ask stupid questions. You are going to stumble. You are going to score a 60 while the person next to you scores a 95. The amateur runs away from looking foolish. The master embraces it. The master understands that every time you fail, every time you look stupid, you are making a transaction. You are buying a piece of knowledge with your ego. You are trading your pride for competence. You must let your ego bleed out on the desk. You have to walk into that room. Look at the people who are better than you, and instead of feeling embarrassed, you must look them in the eye and say to yourself, I am a fool today, so that I can become a master tomorrow. Part 3. The Shift and the True Metric of Worth. When I was sitting in that coaching room, looking at my terrible score, battling my own ego, my tutor sat down with me. And I will always thank him for what he told me. He helped me realize that it is never too late to start from zero. Because for anyone who has a massive desire to change their circumstances, starting from zero is the only way out. He shifted my perspective. He showed me that the true victory isn't just getting the highest score on the first day. The true victory is proving to yourself that you are worthy of having a dream in the first place. Since that humiliating first test, since that moment I decided to swallow my pride and accept the zero, I have fought my way to 2 mains and an interview. Am I at the absolute finish line yet? Have I secured the final success? Not yet. But I am incredibly happy and deeply proud to be standing exactly where I am today. Because I know what it took to get here. I know that I was willing to step out of my comfort zone, take the hit to my pride, and start from the absolute bottom without letting negative thoughts destroy me. Most people will live their entire lives in quiet desperation. They will hate their jobs, they will hate their circumstances, and they will die with their potential still inside them. All because they were too terrified of being a beginner. They will never fail an interview because they will never have the courage to apply. Just by entering the arena, just by willingly taking on the humiliation of the beginner, you have already separated yourself from the masses. Part 4. The Solutions: How to Execute the Ego Death. So, how do you actually survive this? How do you walk into the room tomorrow and not let the embarrassment crush you? Here are 3 rules you must implement immediately. Rule number 1. The empty cup. There is an old Zen proverb about a scholar who visits a master to learn. But the scholar keeps interrupting, trying to show off how much he already knows. The master starts pouring tea into the scholar's cup and keeps pouring until it overflows and spills everywhere. The master says, "You are like this cup. You are so full of your own opinions and past identity that nothing new can go in. To learn, you must first empty your cup. Leave your age, your past degrees, and your pride at the door. You are a white belt now. Accept it." Rule number 2. Data collection versus judgment. When you get a terrible score on a mock test, or you fail at a new task, your ego sees it as a judgment. It says, "You are stupid." You must train your brain to see failure purely as data. A score of 60 doesn't mean you are a failure. It is just raw data showing you exactly which chapters you need to read again tonight. Remove the emotion. Look at the numbers mechanically. Rule number 3. Radical acceptance of your timeline. If you are 30, own it. If you are 35, own it. Stop wishing you were 22 again. The struggles, the trauma, and the chaos you survived in your 20s gave you a mental toughness that the 22-year-old sitting next to you does not have yet. You might be behind on the syllabus, but you are miles ahead in psychological endurance. Weaponize your age. Do not hide from it. Stop letting your ego dictate your future. Stop being embarrassed about where you are starting. The only thing you should be embarrassed about is staying in a life you hate just because it is comfortable. Here is your challenge. Go to the comments right now and type, "I am starting from zero," and tell me exactly what it is you are a beginner at today. Publicly claim your zero. Accept the foolishness. Empty your cup, shed the ego, and let's get to the real work. If you are ready to trade your pride for true competence, hit the subscribe button. Stay honest.